I don't care. You can just do it. But I'm going to say, and we're live.
Okay, you can say, and we're live. That's what trips your trigger. Then by all means,
thanks.
You can do that.
Can I have that? Oh, and I hate shoestring fries.
Oh, yeah, they're stupid. That's what's wrong with Freddy's.
I know.
Fries
My dad loves them, and I
stupid,
can't
tiny
stand them.
French fries.
Can't stand them.
What, the ones like at Freddy's?
Yeah.
Yes, they're
I don't like
shoestring.
those.
I don't like it.
You know what I figured out, though? I take the fork, I take that sauce, that
fry
sauce,
mm-hmm.
and I just doctor the hell out of it. And then I get my fork, and I just like
That's
that.
what my dad does.
That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I don't know why I'm holding my fork like chopsticks, but it was really.
You're a lobster boy.
Well, I was sitting over here like this, like I've got chopsticks or something. It's so
also,
weird.
sir, what is a frosted almond?
I have no idea, but they're pretty expensive.
I don't know, but you got to pay extra for it.
$7. Mm-hmm. And we're live.
With Paranormal Spirits. This is the place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do that with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. It's my wife, Alyssa Black.
Hello.
My best friend, John Burkett.
You didn't say breast friend.
I didn't say breast friend. I wasn't looking at Alyssa's tits. No, I didn't say breast friend. Tonight, Alyssa is going to take us to another haunted hotel in Dallas, Texas, the Aldolphus. And she's going to tell us all about the scary stuff that happens there and the
history, too.
The history and the experiences that people have had there. But as we start off every night, and this show is about spirits, we start off this night with spirits as well. And tonight we are drinking a Blanco tequila. John, take it away.
This is El Tequileno. Tequileno. Got to give my vowels right there. The Blanco is a long-standing favorite that won the hearts and minds of the people in the magical town of Tequila.
Magical town of Tequila?
There's a town called Tequila in Jalisco. It's like the heart of tequila country.
See, I knew about Jalisco. I'd never heard that there was a town.
There actually is a town called Tequila.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I don't know if it's safe to travel there, but
Is there any place safe to travel right now? There?
Well, Hung's in Cabo right now.
Is he really?
He got married.
Did he?
He sure did.
He's no longer living in sin. He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell anybody.
Oh, how'd you find
I
out?
saw it on Facebook. His pictures from Cabo, and notice her name was Wynn as well.
Well,
And he made something about his wife.
why is he so secretive about stuff?
To be honest, I thought they were married already.
No.
I really did.
Common law, I guess.
Yeah,
I hate that common law business.
they've been living.
I mean, I
in
get it.
sin
I just don't
for-
understand it. I don't know. The rules are so wacky.
They've been living in sin for a while now, but I mean,
Yeah. He's in Cabo right now.
I can never understand the laws on the common law.
At
thing.
some
you can love Cabo.
luxury villas. I don't know. I have to find
Ooh.
it after the show. I'll
That's
show you his
awesome.
pictures.
I'm kind of jealous.
Well, hopefully he won't get kidnapped by cartels. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just,
Catch a stray bullet in a cartel shootout. Or,
it's
While
so
lying on the beach.
Yeah.
it's so rough down there right now that I really just we go, almost every year, and it's like I'm not feeling it this year.
Now, if you are outside of a private residence and you're doing this or smoking a cigarette,
Yeah,
$300
Yep.
fine.
I thought it was $350.
It's $300, but we'll let people kidnap, but criminals run the country and murder people and stuff. Wow, but God forbid somebody smokes.
I know, right?
What about the cocaine and all of that you get offered on the street? Is that all
fit-
right still?
The fentanyl and
Obrador signed this law saying it was for the health of the Mexican public. Like,
yeah, because
really?
fentanyl's not bad for you.
Well, that all comes here. But what about the health of those 5 teenagers that were tricked into saying they were coming for a job interview and then they were forced to murder each other by cartel? Yeah, but
it's horrible.
Let's make sure no tourists smoke.
Yeah. Well, I guess smoking, yes. Vaping, no, has become so uncommon that there are probably not that many people that do. anymore. I don't think.
There's usually not a whole lot that you see when we
I
go.
don't know. When
done
we
that.
were there, last time I was there, I mean, all the Europeans were smoking.
Oh, really?
The place was full of Germans and Dutch. They were all.
Oh, we've never run into a bunch of Europeans while we've been there. A few.
That's
maybe.
because y'all going to Cabo. You got to go to Playa del Carmen
Oh, that part of
in
Mexico.
the winter
Got
when
you.
they're on holiday from
That makes sense.
Germany.
Got you.
So I'm gonna be honest. All I smell from this is agave.
Yep, smells like agave syrup almost.
It smells so good. So what's the...
I can't tell the difference between syrup.
Are we
and-
going to taste it and then you tell us what the website
Sure.
says they're supposed to taste? Okay.
I bet you can guess what it says you're supposed to taste.
Agave
but-
forward.
Yep.
Cilantro.
Yep, that's pretty much what it tastes like. Sweet cooked agave is what it says.
Yep.
This is extremely smooth. I will say that.
It reminds me of that the tequila I bought at Total when I was there. That Monte Azul, that Blue Mountain, tastes a lot like this.
Does it?
And it was inexpensive.
Yeah, this one's not expensive at all.
What is the price point on that, dear?
This
Wasn't
I
it
don't remember. I don't
21,
remember.
22?
It was cheap.
I think it was 22.
It was way
Really?
cheap.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have bought it just looking at the price going, I don't think I want that. But they had the little guy standing out there with the little
The
plastic,
tiny little plastic sample
tiny
cups.
little plastic sample cups. They're,
Like they give you tequila tastings
just-
in Mexico.
yeah, we'll plug Total Wine. But he was,
Total Wine and Spirits, Dallas, Texas.
yeah, there you go. And maybe we can get a sponsorship out of
There
it,
you
right?
go.
So, but he was passing them out, very cordial. And he says, "This is really my favorite." And I'm like, "For
We
real?"
thought he was joking, especially when he pulled it out and it was like this little, like, you have to crack the plastic screw top.
You can't judge a book by that cover.
You can't really.
No, but I mean, it's very plain. It looks like something you get off the bottom shelf.
And
I think this line is. I think they had this down here
at our little local
Yeah,
liquor store.
They don't
Yeah.
have the platinum line from them, but they do have this one.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
But
I've
it's
seen
really
it there.
doesn't. I like it.
I do too. It's good tequila. I mean, good flavor.
It says it is best enjoyed in a La Batanga cocktail.
Which is?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
I've never had one of those.
It doesn't really sound very complicated. If I can find my mouse.
Now, do you guys get any bitterness out of this at all?
A little bit.
I get a little bit of the bitterness on the backside, on the finish.
There's a little herbaceousness in there.
There is.
La Batanga is 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces if you're an American of Tequileno. God dang it, they put the vowels in
El
there.
Tequileno.
Tequileno.
El Tequileno.
Tequileno. It's leño. See the E?
Tequileno.
Yeah.
El Tequileno. Leño.
1/4 ounce lime juice, Mexican Coke, not Coca-Cola.
Oh
my God.
Cocaine.
I was going to say a little bit of Coke.
Little coca.
And margarita salt around the rim and some lime.
Really? So it's like a spiked Coke.
And apparently you're supposed to stick a knife in it for some reason. I don't know what the knife
That's
is
interesting.
for. And it's a
Maybe-
highball. It's served as a highball.
I like highballs. I wouldn't hate that. So it's like a tequila and Coke.
Basically. Yeah, with
some
some lime.
lime.
And salt around the rim.
I don't hate that. Let's hit that up. Which Mexican Coke is made with sugar.
Yeah, it's the real deal. It's no,
Real
it's no
deal
high
cane
fructose
sugar.
corn syrup
Yeah.
bullshit like American.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is sweet. Sweet, sweet.
Well, anything else about Tequileno we need to know?
I think it tastes
I don't
good.
know if that price point is good. That's
I can't complain. I really
At
can't.
$22, I can't complain either.
We've had tequilas 3 and 4 times that expensive that's not as good.
yeah.
Easily.
Definitely.
3 or 4 times expensive.
Agreed.
And so you really ready to take us on a trip down
Memory lane? It's not really memory lane. I don't really-
BWS lane?
Sure.
Okay. But before we do, let's talk about all those places that people can see our different media.
Okay.
So if you're listening to us on a podcast, just pretend that we're naked. But if you're on, if you want to see us in real life, you can go to YouTube. And on YouTube, we are 3B Paranormal Spirits. And go there, like and subscribe. Click that button. I swear to God, we won't spam you. But it really helps us out with the algorithm, with the YouTube algorithm. And it helps our videos get out there, helps our podcast get out there. It really does us a huge solid. We also have Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And all of those are at paranormal _ dash spelled out DASH _ spirits. And that's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And we have a Facebook page, which is Booze, BOOS, with benefits. And then we have our website. It's paranormal-spirits.com. If you go there, it's kind of a launch page. You can go to any of the sites we have, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Plus, on top of that, and this is a big plus, we have a swag store that you can go to once you get there, and it's Boozy's Boutique, where you can get any of our wonderful swag. And this is just a sampling. There's probably close to 500 different items that you can buy there, but we have Boozy's Koozie, we have dad caps, we have trucker caps, we have coffee mugs, we have coffee cups, we have water bottles, we've got the whole shebang. So anyway, make sure that you go there. Any place that you go that you can subscribe and like us, please do so. And from that, Alyssa, take it away. Tell us about the Aldolphus.
The Aldolphus Hotel. It's found in the Main Street District of Dallas. It is one of the oldest in Dallas. I don't believe it's quite the oldest, but one of them. It was built in 1912, and at the time it was the tallest building in Texas at the time, which was 22 floors tall or 312 feet. It was the tallest until 1922.
How many stories is that?
22.
22 stories?
Mm-hmm. Until 1922, when the Magnolia Hotel was built, I believe. And
the what?
It's bigger. Magnolia. So the Magnolia that's taller than that one? I think that's what it said. There's something else that was built and it's taller than that. It was built by Anheuser-Busch founder Aldolphus Busch.
Hence the name Aldolphus, I assume.
He was actually going to call it the New Oriental Hotel because he had built the Oriental Hotel in Dallas, and it was catty corner across the street with a different kind of style. So he's going to name it the New Oriental.
That one's there anymore.
Is it not? That's what they were going to name it, and then somebody in Dallas or somebody associated with building hotels said, "Why don't you name it after yourself?" And he said, "Okay." He said, "I will acquiesce and do that." Is actually what he was quoted to say.
Name it the Bush Hotel.
Right.
We are returning to gargoyles. It is built in a Parisian Beaux Arts or Baroque style with exterior gargoyles.
Gargoyles? That
are flanked by helmeted heads of Greek gods.
Do the gargoyles come to life at night like in the cartoon?
No. Nope. And they don't depict any ailments.
They're not sick gargoyles.
Nope.
Okay.
It's a cool building.
It's a really neat building.
I've seen anybody that's ever driven downtown Dallas has seen it.
If you've ever had to go to City Hall or Federal Building, you've probably parked and walked by it.
True.
It was built for the cost of $1 million.
Oh, cheap little thing.
Hold, please. Let me just see. What was $1 million in 1912?
A lot.
Worth today?
Like $1 billion.
$1.3 billion today.
That was an expensive hotel.
Yeah, well, he owned Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, and all of the things that went along with it. So,
Bud Light.
It first opened October 5th of 1912.
Not for me.
No.
And unlike a lot of hotels that we've talked about or that you hear about, it never fell into disrepair in the 1930s during the Depression. They had big bands that played there in the 30s, and comedians like Bob Hope and Jack Benny were there that got discovered.
Oh, wow.
So they kept things going so that they could keep business coming, which it was just known to be. That's where a lot of people went that had a lot of money.
Still is.
Still is, yes. It's associated with Neiman Marcus. It's right across the street, I believe. That was the flagship Neiman Marcus, so people would come there and shop and stay at the Aldolphus. And then also, fun fact, for 35 years, it had a retractable ice rink that was used for touring reviews. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep. Which I think was kind of cool.
Retractable ice.
Retractable. Mm-hmm. Oh, another really cool
thing.
thing.
Then they built the Galleria, and they have an always ice rink in there. So,
what's really cool too is that there is a Steinway & Sons piano that is inside one of the, I don't know if it's in the ballroom or it's in one of the
French
rooms.
room,
Might be the French room. And Steinway & Sons made 2 identical pianos to go on board the Titanic. They were late delivering them to the ship, and only one made it on board before the ship had to depart.
But this is the other one.
Well, let me guess where the other one is.
The other was left on the dock. Adolphus Busch received word of the piano and decided he would like to purchase it for his new hotel, the Aldolphus, in downtown Dallas.
Oh, how cool.
So that is the brother of...
The other.
Yeah, that's the twin to the one that's in the bottom of the ocean right now.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of fun? I think that's kind of fun.
So is it still there?
It's still there, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the Busch family owned the Aldolphus for 37 years until 1949 when Dallas investor Leo F. Corrigan Sr. purchased the 825-room property for $2.977 million.
Still a bargain.
Yeah, in 1949 it was. It had multiple expansions, 1916, 1926, 1950, and at that time it had 1,200 rooms by 1950. After all the expansions, they had built like another tower and some other things. It got a facelift in the 80s with an $8 million makeover. I read that it was like $45 million on the actual building, and then the rest of the millions were what they like put inside of it to decorate it out. No more rooms were added, but the existing rooms became more expansive and modern, which then lessened the number of rooms to 428. And to include 127 executive suites and 12 luxury suites. Renovation was complete in 1983, and the hotel was added to the National Register of Historic Places that same year. As of 1987, it was designated as a Dallas landmark. Wow. It is now also part of the Marriott Hotel's autograph collection, which includes the Galvez that we've talked about before. Then in 2016, it went through another 2-year renovation. Not a whole lot to say from there. They just updated it. It's an old hotel, so they continually update it.
The rooms don't look like an old hotel.
They've completely renovated it.
Nice.
Yeah, they've renovated it multiple times, but yes.
Well, you know, you talk about it went from 1,200 rooms down to 400 because we've stayed, you know, that's our thing. We like to go to old hotels, you know, the spooky, you know, haunted hotels. Yeah. And the one from the 1800s and the early 1900s, those rooms were about the size of this table that we're sitting at, you know, and it's just, and if you can't imagine, we're sitting at basically a square table. It's almost a little bit larger than a card table. And this...
So a 3x5, I think.
Maybe 4, 3x4?
3x4, I think.
Yeah, 3x4. 3x4 table, yeah. And I mean, these rooms were about that size. They're tiny. And so you can imagine if you took 4 of those and you stuck them together, then you would have, you know, about that size room. And
the room prices are actually not awful. I mean, about $300 for a 1 king deluxe guest room.
You could stay there this Friday night, if you have AAA, so you get your $10 discount.
I do.
$224 in a 1 king.
Okay.
A king bed.
I just kind of did February so that I could kind of get every option. They actually have 2 king suites, which is really cool because every place you go, it's like queens or doubles. These are kings, and that's like
$243 a night for 2 queen.
2 king.
This is quite the hotel.
Yes, you can get a terrace suite with a balcony, $600. Luxury 1-bedroom suite, $1,100. A 2-bedroom presidential
What about the Hollywood suite?
for $1,500.
The Hollywood suite has an outdoor.
See, now that's cool. I don't know. The Hollywood suite apparently is not available in February when I looked.
That's
But
just for
so I mean,
Hollywood.
kind of whatever you want to find. They've had multiple very famous guests that have stayed here, to include U.S. Presidents Harding, Carter, Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and in 1991, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. When she visited, the Queen requested to meet each person that served them during their stay and gifted an official portrait to be hung in the hotel lobby, where it still remains.
Can you imagine you're so damned important that you gift a portrait of yourself?
That's what I'm going to start doing.
Yeah, when I go to a hotel, look, I'd rather just get paying for my room. Here, I have
Here's
this
a picture of me. You can hang on the wall.
Here's a picture. Here's a portrait. You know, you can hang this in your lobby.
She's the freaking queen, or she what? I mean,
I get
God
it,
rest
but
her
I'm
soul.
just,
She's the queen. Wasn't the queen here?
No, I know.
I've
but,
never been a queen.
But I mean, how many times the queen doesn't come here very often? So they were saying like she was doing. I don't know. They were doing something over here, and so that's
Doesn't
where
come
she's
to Dallas very often at all.
Certainly doesn't come to Dallas. No, definitely not.
It's too damn hot.
We don't choose to go to Dallas if we can. So be it that it's really old.
For somebody who chooses not to go to Dallas, it's like y'all go to Dallas a lot.
We do go to Dallas
You're
a lot.
right. You're right. But not necessarily stay, because you know we live close enough that we don't have to stay.
Yeah.
But it is fun to stay because you have so many. You like this, you know. There's so many different places you can.
We're
stay.
90 miles from Dallas, so it's a
Yeah, it's
a day trip.
It's a day trip.
Easy day trip.
Yes. So, because it's old, maybe not because it's old, just because it had some things happen that were there. It is haunted. So it's said. Within the first decade, this are just some of the things, which honestly, some of this is like you're just an idiot. Within the first decade, a cement company employee drank from a bottle labeled poison and died. Well, bro,
It was
don't drink from
labeled,
that.
Don't drink from the poison bottle.
So he left the physical plane intentionally,
Yes.
because we can't say the S word.
An insurance man.
He unalived himself on purpose.
He unalived himself on purpose.
An insurance man is what this said, from New Hampshire, sank into the sidewalk nearby and died inside the hotel.
What?
Sank into the sidewalk.
How'd that? Because
Was
I've
it-
walked down that sidewalk in front of
I
this
don't know.
hotel many
I don't know.
times, and I've never sank into the sidewalk.
I'm pretty sure my big fat ass could walk down that sidewalk without sinking into it. And I'm a big old boy.
Many times I've walked right by the front entrance to the hotel.
He must have been huge.
Not sure.
Never
to be
sank through that
honest.
concrete ever.
No. Well, unfortunately, this insurance man from New Hampshire did.
Maybe he phased into it. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Quicksand.
Yeah, maybe it's quicksand.
How long
Who
ago
knows?
was this? Maybe it didn't
This was
have,
in the first decade of it opening. So
Dallas-
1912 to 1922.
Dallas probably still had dirt streets probably
There
until
you go. It was after a bad rainstorm.
Probably, yeah. You cannot sink through the sidewalk in front of the Aldolphus now. Trust me.
Well, so honestly, though, this is a hotel. Most of its hauntings, other than one very specific story, most of their hauntings are from the elevators. They had multiple accidents in the elevator. Now, as we all know, in elevators now, they shut. And you can't go into the shaft.
You can't stick your head in there. I wonder how this works.
Correct. But
Shop.
that was not always the case. Do you have something to say?
I never had an accident in an elevator, but I've had some accidents.
Oh, God. So, most are located in the elevator shaft where it is quoted, countless victims have fallen to their death inside the shaft to the
Countless.
basement below, or have even been crushed by a passing elevator car. Now, when it says countless, the only stories that I found, I think, were 3 or 4 this is what happened to this person. So the first death by elevator occurred 2 weeks after opening in 1912.
Oh my God.
An Italian waiter from Chicago had come to the hotel a day prior. He had a helper companion with him. They said that they were moving some things. He turned to speak to his friend as he stepped onto the elevator. He didn't realize the car had left without him, fell 3 stories down to the shaft, crushing his skull on impact, died 2 hours later at Baptist.
Oh, no, I'm a falling down.
And apparently he died 2 hours later at the Baptist Sanatorium. Is that what it was called, I believe? So he didn't actually die immediately.
Who's going to save Princess Peach now?
I don't know, Luigi. But, so, first one. And then in 1917, newly named elevator boy jumped onto an ascending car, missed, and fell 100 feet to the basement, where his skull shattered and both legs broke.
So
he died on impact.
Nobody's learned to duck and roll.
Apparently not. How about look?
So, okay, so granted, there weren't the safety features back then that there are now, and they had the little doors that closed, that you had to manually.
Yeah, I can only think of like that. Speaking of the Titanic, like the movies where they had to bait
like
and then gated them and then they locked them and let us in.
So
yes,
why was this kid newly named? I mean, was he?
So apparently
have a name
that was his
that?
job. That was his job as an elevator boy.
He just got hired.
He just got hired and named the elevator
I was
boy.
being silly.
Oh. But he was supposed to. He was already moving, and he was trying to. So I don't know if maybe there weren't those safety gates at this one. I don't know, but tried to jump onto the ascending car and missed. And they didn't go that fast. So, homie I'm not sure, but he fell 100 feet.
We see TikToks all the time about people who make stupid mistakes like that, where they think, "Oh, that's just a simple little step. I can make that," and then they don't.
That's true. 1924, a cook stuck his head out into the elevator shaft, and we all know what's going to happen, to see why the elevator was delayed that he had called a while back. And the descending car landed on him, killing him instantly.
That's so interesting because I was watching Zach and the gang today, an earlier one from the new season, and it was a hotel in Los Angeles, in downtown, an old one. And there were a couple of deaths just like that. Some dipshit stuck his head in the elevator shaft to watch the one rise, but forgot that there's a 4,800-pound weight coming the other way. Boom. And then another one did the same thing that you just described. Actually, chopped in half.
I think that used to be pretty common.
I think that's why they have all the safety features. It's like, we talk about these safety features. We've talked about this before, that
there's a reason they say don't eat on the silica packet.
We were comparing Mexico. We were talking about Mexico earlier.
Yeah.
And how Mexico, they're like basically a free-for-all. If you're an idiot and you're going to stand that close to the edge and you fall off, that's your own fault. We're not going to barricade you.
Just can't vape or smoke in public.
I know. But in America, here it's like danger, and like they put all these gates up and like don't go past these rocks and whatever, and it's like, but there's a reason for that, because some idiot has done that. Yeah. They have done that.
They do. In Mexico, you have to use your common sense. They build their their little barriers, are only this tall, and if you're stupid enough to jump off or lean over the side of the railing, then so be it. And here, it's like, oh well, we have the railing, and then we have the fence above that, and then we have the cap that points back this way so that you can't climb over the fence.
Of course, I say that, and then you go to some of these national parks, and it's like you can fall straight up off them things. Like, don't be dumb. But I will say, there have been times even recently, where these elevators fail, and the door is shut, and then they open, and there's no car there.
Yeah.
Like, you hear about that. Or people it doesn't stop when it's supposed to, and people get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had that happen. That's like where something doesn't quite open, you're standing there and the dang door is shutting, and it's like, oh my god.
Well, for most, it's safer to take the stairs, and it's healthier for you. It's better for you to get some exercise in, and you won't get crushed by a car.
So when we were at the Crockett, the elevator there, dude, it was like, was it the Crockett or was it the one that we stayed at with your mom and dad? I can't remember. Anyway, it was this elevator, and you know how elevators got the little bumper there, that once you push that, the elevator door goes back, right?
Right.
This one did not.
Just take your fingers.
It just kept on coming.
Yeah, that was with my parents. It wasn't at the Crockett.
Yeah, it was with your parents when we stayed up there, and it was. But this elevator, I mean, literally, it squeezed me.
They should warn people about, because that's how I've done that a million times. Stick my hand there to stop the door,
and it doesn't work.
I've never had it happen or it didn't work.
This one didn't. That we were at.
Well, obviously didn't for the cook, homie, in 1924. And then March 5th of 1971, hotel employee asked a companion that was with him or somebody that was with him to be sure the elevator car had arrived before loading the band equipment, because, they still had the big bands and all that stuff there. The companion replied, "Yes, it's here," stepped into an empty elevator shaft instead of into the elevator, and fell to his death in the basement.
It's so sad. It really
Just
is.
look.
Apparently,
sad,
he did
though.
turn back around, and there you are. So, because of this, people have reported hearing moans of the undead. I can only attribute that to be I can only put that
zombies?
like zombies. That's the only thing. Like when you hear that, that's the
undead
only thing.
Brains.
But
Yeah.
also, people have reported hearing, "Yes, here it is," or "Yes, it is here." They get on because that's what the guy was said to have said right before he turned around in 1971. He said, "Yes, it's here," and turned around
And
and
it
fell.
fell.
So people have said that they have heard hearing, "Yes, it's here," when they get onto the elevator. There's also reports of seeing mangled forms of hotel guests and employees in old-fashioned uniforms riding beside them in the elevator.
Nice.
And then when the elevator's doors open, they tell them to watch their step and then disappear.
And what was the name of the bar in this place?
So
It's called the French Room Bar. And there's also the cowboy bar, the
rodeo bar.
rodeo bar, yeah. Which
So those are some of the things. Now, there's from 2019, there's a YouTube video, and the bank of elevators, I believe, is 5 elevators. There's a bank of elevators, and they just randomly start opening and closing. Nobody is pushing the buttons. Nobody is even standing in front of the elevators. And then, it has one of those, little foyer alcoves that you, stand, and it's got a desk and a chair, and the phone just starts to ring. And then the elevators randomly open, shut, open, shut, open, shut, open, shut, open, shut. Nobody's there. Nobody's in the elevators. They're just going haywire. And there's a YouTube video from 2019 where people...
Wow.
And they're laughing giddily, next to it. But it's wow.
yeah, I'll take the stairs. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Please and
I mean,
thank you.
even if you're on the 27th floor.
It'll take a while to get there. But might die of a heart attack, but I won't die being crushed to death by an elevator.
Truth. There is that. But, so there always seems to be a bride story in most of these hotels.
Always.
There is a jilted bride or the lady in white story here. And a bride-to-be arrived for her wedding in 1935. She was to be married in the ballroom on the 19th floor. She was left at the altar by the groom, who never showed. So she's standing there, homie. Which, here's my thing. I don't know how they used to do weddings back then, but you walk down to the groom typically. The groom's already standing there. So if homie's not there, I'd be waiting in the back. And then I'm bye. Her body was found hanging above the altar a few hours later.
So the 19th floor is on it.
Oh, yeah. So now guests on the 19th floor have reported hearing a woman crying, footsteps running the halls, and the sound of a rope creaking as if against the weight of a body. Her spirit has been rumored to be seen where she's in a white dress and veil roaming the halls after parties and events. And her appearance, and sometimes not even her appearance, just the sound. Her appearance is said to be accompanied by the sound of a music box that plays a 1930s tune, like one of those little. And there are multiple reports that I've read that someone's I stayed there 10 days, but there was one night where I woke up to the sound of a music box. I just figured it was somebody next door or something. It was just kind of random. And then I figured out that that's what people say they hear when she's there, when she shows up.
So I'm gonna have to do some research on this, because every hotel, it seems like, has that jilted bride
Yeah.
ghost that roams the hall.
Or the bride whose husband they thought was lost at sea.
That's Galvez.
That's Galvez, yeah.
It's like Marriott hotels have jilted brides.
Yeah.
Or at least these two.
Maybe they were ugly.
Autograph
Maybe
collection.
Maybe the dude, his senses, he came to his senses at the last moment. He goes, "Oh my God, I can't imagine spending, the rest of my life with this ugly bitch."
And then you have the Crescent.
Yeah.
Who had a bride.
So, and that's what I'm saying. So there's a mythos around this, I guess.
Or is it just these grand hotels that's where people got married? Because these are grand old hotels.
So if you're going to jilt a girl, go to a fancy hotel to do it,
So that when she can off herself and then you can...
Yeah, so when she offs herself...
She can haunt the place?
When she unalives herself?
Yeah. She can haunt the place. So, a couple of other things that people say. You have people report hearing loud footsteps outside their room. People report hearing big band music in the middle of the night, which lots of big bands would play there. So that makes sense. Also, piano music. I mean, they had that Steinway. They still have the Steinway. And they will let you play it apparently every now and then. Or one of them you can play. Nobody has a fit over it. So they have multiple pianos. But that one's
Speaking of that piano, have you looked up at the pictures of that piano?
Mm-hmm. I sent you one. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. That thing is so
But
huge
doesn't it look just like in the movie, in like the one that's still on the ship? It's a twin. It's the exact same one.
It's so immense. And I've been around grand pianos before, but this thing is huge. It looks like it's extra long, and it is extremely ornate and decorated. And it wasn't what I expected when they said grand piano. I expect to see a Steinway. I think of modern Steinways. This thing is hand carved. It's gorgeous. It's just absolutely beautiful.
It's a beautiful, beautiful piano. There was another story of a regular of the hotel's bistro died, and her apparition was said to be seen by staff walking in and sitting at her usual table. Housekeepers have reported feeling a tap on their shoulder while working, and also some other employees have witnessed windows flying open when they are approached. The feeling of being watched or followed, namely by there's pictures in the lobby, and people say that when you walk through the lobby, the pictures in the big portraits, their eyes seem to follow you when you walk past them. So they have a feeling of being watched or followed, and the sounds of slamming doors, which that's kind of a lot of places, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I said, namely the ones I thought was really cool was people would say, "Yeah, I heard big band music," and I thought there was a band, and then there wasn't, or I heard a music box playing, and I was like, that I saw multiple times. The only story that I saw that somebody actually wrote about reporting, other than the elevators in that YouTube video, other than the elevators and the multiple elevator reports, someone said, "I stayed there years ago in 2004. I had the worst paranormal experience. Stomping above my room, like people running around, people running up and down the huge hall outside my room, and no one was there. You could see down the hall from the peephole in my suite, and it was then that I noticed 5 or 6 men and women walking into my room at the tune of music, women smoking cigarettes and men with black hats on. They walked straight through my window and were gone. Then a negative energy, black-looking hair in the midair was swirling in front of me before coming very close and disappearing."
And she's complaining about this?
That's what she says. I guess she didn't want it. That's the only report.
She got to take all the stuff off the bucket list there.
Yeah.
I know, right?
One night.
Full-bodied apparition times 5. And then you got the swirling mass mist above her.
And she's complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she can hear them. So she's getting audio.
My luck, I'd spend my $224 and nothing at all would happen. I'd just have a good night's sleep.
Well, we went to the one in Gainesville there, and pay for the room, then we pay for the hotel room, and we stay there not the whole night. We stayed 4 or 5 hours.
We stayed till about 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30 in the morning, and we got some EVPs. And
which, hey, they were pretty good.
Pretty good EVPs.
We saw some shadows moving.
We did see shadows move, but we didn't see full-bodied apparitions.
And we didn't get touched. You did once.
Once, yeah.
But compared to how active people reported it being.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, that's what I'm saying. That's the only story where, because some of these I really find Reddit, TripAdvisor, and comments. comments. Like, there's all kinds of comments about people's experience, especially like the Crescent. But here, most people say, I didn't see the ghost. I didn't feel the ghost. I didn't see anything. And then people will be like, I randomly heard band music in the middle of the night. It's like, is that a normal thing for you? Like,
do you normally hear band music in the
and then I heard
night?
a music box, and I'm like, that's the story. But, some people go to these places, and they're just, this is a really nice, elegant hotel, older hotel with a lot of character. And there's a lot of people that go there just because of its vicinity to downtown Dallas and its history. So they're not necessarily going because it's haunted. So, how many people really may have
they don't
experienced
play it
something
up either as part of their...
No.
It's not like the Crescent or somewhere where they do tours, the haunted tours and stuff.
It's listed, like on there. Like, and Emily Morgan is known for that. But apparently when you go there, when you go to the lobby, like, they'll tell you about it. Like, it's about, like, you can go on these ghost story, like, there's one of the what do you call them? The people at a hotel. Well, like, not a maitre d'. Yeah. He's really into it and will tell you all the stories, and he'll go up to the 19th floor with you, because that's where Chica was, the bride. That's where the ballroom is. And so that's where it's supposed to be the most haunted, where you hear most of these things. And he'll go up there with you. People say they go up there and they get a real freaked out feeling. And almost everybody reports that the elevators are creepy as hell. They said that they're just weird. There's just something. They feel cold when you go in there. That they're just really creepy. I'll be honest with you. When we stayed at the Crockett, that friggin' hotel, those elevators are creepy. They're tiny, and there's only 2, and it's just, it was weird. So
have the elevators, I'm sure they
have been renovated multiple times.
Remodeled and renovated, and now they probably
They say they're very fast.
Probably, I was going to say, they're probably fast, and they probably even look modern now. No, they still look old.
Yeah, I sent you the video, the YouTube video, but I also, so you could take, like, just watch it, but you could also take some pictures of the elevators. They're not like from...
Do they open up and then blood comes pouring out?
No, they don't.
It's not like the ones at the Crescent. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not like that. No.
That's creepy AF.
No, and nobody's going to die in those because they're slow as hell, and the door never shuts, and it's just a mess. But no, they are. I don't know. They look old still, like they're kind of golden colored and in dark wood.
Oh yeah, that looks.
Well, you don't want them looking like the hospital elevators.
No.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But they're gold.
I like it with the Christmas garland up there.
Yeah. It has a big stairway, like the Stockyard one I reported about. I was talking about Galvez has one. All had those grand staircases.
So this is an interest. This is not paranormal.
Okay.
It's just interesting. This is a typical Texas story. During the 1960 presidential campaign, LBJ and Lady Bird were Dallas, stumping for JFK. And they arrived in Dallas in the heat of the presidential campaign. The moment they stepped out in front of the Baker Hotel, they were beset by a howling mob, mostly society women from Highland Park in North Dallas, who had accompanied Republican Congressman Bruce Alger to give the Johnsons a chilly reception. Johnson's canny eye for optics spotted opportunity. Scheduled to make an appearance at the Aldolphus, he and Lady Bird strode across Commerce Street into the maw of a hostile crowd amid cries of Judas and Socialist. Wow. Lyndon Johnson, a socialist, give me a break. Inside the lobby, Johnson's gamble paid off. A television camera caught him escorting a composed Lady Bird through the jeering crowd, and the spectacle didn't sit well with Texans, and Kennedy pulled off an upset win. Without the ugly scene at the Aldolphus, Nixon likely would have carried Texas.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
We don't like to see people call it.
No.
Well, maybe now, I don't know, but back in 1960, it didn't sit well with people to see somebody yelling socialist and stuff and being rude to Lady Bird Johnson.
No, she was.
Which how far right are you that you would think that Lyndon Johnson is a socialist?
I don't know. That's kind of out there.
So far to the right of Genghis Khan, I guess.
But yeah, it looks like Yes. So to answer your question, yes, they've been renovated many times, but it's so the elevators in the 19th floor. Those are your and then big band music, but it's definitely a treat. They've got multiple bars, multiple places to eat.
Rodeo bar looks fun.
Rodeo bar does look fun. It's got a little tea room.
And it's listed, so it's not like I've seen it before when you're looking for bars to go to and stuff to do in Deep Ellum or downtown, as the rodeo bar, and then it's in the Aldolphus. But it's not like going to the French Room bar, which is the fancy rich people place. Right. Rodeo bar is like canned beer and stuff,
Right. So you have the French Room bar, the social lobby, tea at the Aldolphus, Otto's Coffee and Fine Foods, the rodeo bar, City Hall Bistro, the French Room. So there's quite a number of things. They have in-room dining as well, that they have a whole separate menu for that. So they've got the pool Aldolphus. Like, it's got its own little part on the website about the pool. It's, I believe it's a rooftop. Yes, it's a rooftop pool. Which I think in and of itself is so freaking cool. And it's got a bar at the rooftop. You can swim and sip at the rooftop bar.
Nice.
Got DJs. All kinds of stuff. So there's really some really cool things to do there. Fitness, barbershop, concierge, all kinds of stuff. Spa. So, and it's right in the middle of town. So it's just, and it's so, that Baroque style sticks out compared to the rest of downtown Dallas, So
everything else is the glass-sided skyscraper,
right.
But it definitely sticks out. Although, every time, I've never really looked up. I've
really?
walked by it so many times. And I think, there's the office. Got a really cool entrance, and you can see in there and say, this is fancy as hell. And but I've never looked up and noticed the gargoyles or anything,
No?
I've never seen the gargoyles there either, and I've been by there a few times.
I can't look up in the middle of a skyscraper downtown like that. It gives me, I have, what do you call that?
Vertigo?
Yeah, I can't do that.
You should check out that link I sent you.
Where'd you send it?
Facebook Messenger, but it's the D magazine, Dallas magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was just where I read the thing about Johnson.
So there's a lot of crazy stories on there that I was reading. It's a prostitute that falls 14 floors and dies outside her room, and a kid that fell.
There's a whole thing about the piano
that's
there
terrible.
in that too.
There was.
Mm-hmm. Destined for the RMS Titanic.
That is crazy to think that it
I know,
ended
that's what
up
I think is
in
so cool.
downtown Dallas, Texas.
I would like to go there. I've never been in the Aldolphus.
No, I've never, because I always figured I could smell the smug, rich people coming off of the place.
I never felt good enough to walk in, so to speak.
No.
And but I would love to go there just to see the piano, if nothing else, because that is really amazing.
So it has its own room, I guess, the piano room.
Yes.
These big leather club chairs and stuff.
Where
you can sit and listen to someone play chopsticks.
Okay, so here's
smell the smug coming off of it.
So here's the story about sinking into the sidewalk. This Shriner, a 45-year-old insurance man in Shriner from New Hampshire, went for a walk with a group of men after dining at the Aldolphus, during which time he became ill and sank into the sidewalk. His friends helped him back to the hotel, and 30 minutes later, he was dead.
Oh, so he
didn't really sink into it.
He didn't.
Yes, the death was ruled an acute attack of indigestion and apoplexy, which at the time could mean stroke. But it's also possible the medical examiner used this as a blanket term for sudden death. Because back in 1913, heart attacks and strokes were not differentiated between.
What?
They didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? You were dead.
How do they know to give them the injections in the?
I don't think
that was in 1913.
I don't think they had crash carts back then.
They didn't have crash carts.
I don't think so.
You just died. I guess you died of indigestion.
And then here's the little travel collector. 26-year-old Iowa Cement Company pardoned himself. That's the Iowa Cement Company kid. Pardoned himself to this hotel bathroom, then subsequently threw himself across the bed and was soon in convulsions. A 1/3 emptied 6-ounce bottle labeled poison was found in the bathroom.
Maybe he couldn't
In the
read.
room, there was a note believed to have been addressed to the young man's stepfather that read, "I got the wrong bottle. Love to all."
Oh my God. Are you for real? Mm-hmm. Oopsie.
It's not too soon. I can laugh, right? It's been 100 years.
It's a wait. Okay, I drank a bottle of poison.
Maybe he couldn't read.
I drank a bottle of poison.
Not everybody
he
was
could
literate
write
back
because he
then.
wrote a note.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess he could read if you.
Yeah, maybe he could.
knew one
Maybe he
without
could
the
write
other.
but couldn't read. But
No.
so he writes an. I know, highly unlikely,
Doesn't
right?
work.
But he writes a note that says, "Oops, I got the wrong bottle."
Before he realized he was going to die, I guess. I don't know. In 1920, a chauffeur for a auto rent company was fatally shot 3 times by a chauffeur for the Aldolphus Auto Rent Company.
Oh my God, chauffeur wars.
Yeah, it says about 20 witnesses were on the scene, and one of the victim's coworkers explained that bad blood had brewed between the two men during a chauffeur's strike several days prior, and the gunman had a bruise and a cut on his face to prove it.
Oh my God.
A chauffeur strike.
And then you have the
Well, that's
cook.
what it sounds like.
Then you have the cook in 1924 I was talking about. And then 1930, a model walked into a hotel room. This sounds like a bad joke. Ready to assist a 60-year-old millinery salesman with his spring displays. She found nothing but a torn window screen. She notified staff, and the man's body was soon found in an air shaft. The young woman told authorities the man had recently been despondent and had told her he wouldn't see his family again. Investigators ruled the case was by his own choosing to jump. The force gained in the fall from the 8th floor caused his body to tear through the galvanized iron roof of an air shaft in one of the inside courts. He had plunged on through to the bottom of the shaft, and his head and body were badly torn and cut by the blades of the powerful fan.
Jesus.
That explained the loud crash and puff of dust from fans reported by kitchen employees the night before.
Was it a puff of pink dust? Pink mist?
Oh my God.
In 1933, a 2-year-old son of a musician in the touring Henry Busey orchestra climbed up on the windowsill to look out at a band playing on the street when the screen gave way. He fell 12 stories. The court case to follow, a judge ruled the Aldolphus not liable for the $1,200 sought by the boy's distraught parents, saying the purpose of the screen was not to prevent people from falling, but to keep insects out.
I wonder if you can open the windows now.
I don't know. Probably. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, you can't. Like the terrace suite has an outdoor terrace. The Hollywood suite has an outdoor living area.
What about the dude who was on fire?
1940, with his clothes ablaze, a 50-year-old man plunged from his fiery 11th room floor and died on impact when his head struck the hotel's marquee. As described in a lengthy story, a crowd watched from the street. The man leaned out of the window, surrounded by smoke, pleading, "Please, somebody save me." Some witnesses believe the man was overcome by smoke and fell, while officials believed he jumped to escape the flames. More controversy ensued over reports that firemen were held up by the hotel's night clerk and delayed when given the wrong floor. 4 days later, after an extensive investigation, jurors decided no state laws were violated during the incident. 1946, according to the fire marshal, a 51-year-old Dallas man woke and turned his burned pillow and sheet into the bathroom after drifting to sleep while smoking. Yet after settling back in bed, he apparently succumbed to smoke and gas when the fire flared up again.
That's why you can't smoke in Mexico now.
No, you can't smoke on a sidewalk in Mexico.
You can actually smoke in your own room.
You can smoke on a sidewalk in downtown Dallas. You can go, but you can't in Mexico.
In 1955, a 36-year-old fashion buyer from Houston was found dead in her room, said to have been caused by a natural death due to acute alcoholism.
Wait.
Is that natural death?
I mean, you know.
No.
And
Acute
then-
alcoholism.
There's nothing cute about
Natural
alcoholism.
acute alcoholism. As opposed to natural ugly alcoholism.
1959, the smashed
There's
body
nothing
of
cute about
a
that.
25-year-old prostitute was found in a small courtyard 14 floors below her room. Described the woman's body plunging down the 4x8 inset in the building, ricocheting from wall to wall.
Oh.
Bing, 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 bing.
And also included such details as the book found on her bed. A fool there was. There were signs of a struggle, but the case remained a mystery for months. A 31-year-old man with a record for procuring was questioned, as well as 2 others, but it wasn't until months later, in January of 59, when an 18-year-old woman was beaten and left in the Mercantile Continental building closet, that authorities encountered Willie Philpott, who was noted as a 2-time loser.
What does that mean?
Apparently, he had killed 2 people.
Oh, was that?
He confessed to a series of crimes, including the mercantile beating, the rape and slaying of a 10-year-old girl in Longview.
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Over here in the View.
Yep. The beating of several men in Sherman, which is north in Alabama, and the murder of the Aldolphus prostitute. He said he was employed at the Aldolphus, and after delivering food and setups to the women's room throughout the day, she gave him whiskey. As they talked, his hand began to twitch, and he flipped a towel around her neck. When she became still, he tossed her out the window and went back to work. He was eventually executed in Huntsville.
I bet.
For the 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Murder.
It's that demon liquor that got him.
The demon whiskey.
And then the final
Should've been
report,
tequila.
the final death was in 1971 with the band equipment, where he replied, "Yes, it's here." The porter stepped into the elevator shaft and fell.
Wow.
Nobody's died there.
What's
since
funny is that I
1971.
saw this, and I think I only read the front part, the top of it, and it said all the ones I had already had, and so I just didn't keep reading.
So nobody's died there since 71.
Not that's reported. Not that's reported. That's the last time. But I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
And I hear about all these people that jump to their death, and I'm thinking, God bless, man. And I know I fell 70 foot into sand,
Oh.
and
I've jumped off a cliff about that high up, but it was into
Water?
Into
big difference. Sudden stop with sand.
It was into the Canadian River in Oklahoma. It just splashed it.
Yeah, there was no splash when I
But
hit.
it seems like a really long way down. Like, it seems like you should have already hit
2
bottom.
seconds. It's 2
Yeah, but it
seconds for
doesn't
70
seem
foot.
when you're falling.
Oh, it seems a lot longer.
It seems like 10, 15, 20
Yeah,
seconds.
it seems like a long time.
It's so long that you forget that you're doing this,
Uh-huh.
and then you go, and then smack when you hit the water.
And I just think about all these people, because you have, 14, she fell from 14 stories, is that correct?
14 stories. That was the headline. Woman falls from 14
It's like
stories.
150
okay, so-
feet,
Yeah.
give or take.
Dude, that is a long time.
But apparently, according to him, he already killed her. He had strangled her and threw her
Oh,
out
yeah,
the
that's
window.
true.
He's just getting rid of the evidence.
Not that matters. I mean, that's still a long way to go. And other dude,
But he-
jumped out 12 to escape the flames? So, yeah.
He's talking about people that consciously, like these women who throw themselves out.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well,
That's like 4 seconds. That's like 4 seconds from 14 floors. 4.1666666.
That is a lot of time to rethink your decision.
Okay, now think about this.
that you can do nothing about. Rethink all you will, but it won't
Think
change
about this.
anything.
Okay, watch this. We go,
Spider-Man ain't going to save you at the last second.
okay, just for a second. So we jump right now.
Splat.
Now we hit. Oh my God, that's a long time.
Unless you have
I mean,
an
it doesn't
overhang
seem
that
like a
maybe
long
you
time.
could catch before you got there.
Man, you just pop, boom,
Yep,
boom.
yep, like in the movies.
You think that that's a long time
Mm-hmm.
to sit there and think about it.
But you have to admit, while that happened, and there was a lot of different reasons why, that's a lot of elevator accidents.
Mm-hmm.
I
A
mean,
lot.
I
It
will
is-
say that's a lot of elevator accidents.
Well, and
Serious issues.
Do you know
there with
that's
their
probably one of the
elevators.
most highly regulated
Now,
now? That's one of the most highly regulated.
Thanks
things
to
in the building.
that fellow Otis that invented the safe elevator.
Did Otis invent it?
Yeah, it's got his name inside.
Sure, it wasn't Thiessen.
Well, that's the other.
Croup.
That was his last
Crup.
name's Otis Thiessen. So sometimes you'll see Otis in there, and sometimes you see Tyson.
Yeah, okay.
Otis Tyson.
I call bullshit.
so I would like to go.
There was a guy.
Actually, the D Magazine is where that YouTube video is at. The link
Oh,
of that
is it?
YouTube video is
Okay,
at the
cool.
D Magazine.
there was this fellow that used to work. I think it was the Ramada here. I don't know, but I had a buddy who was a bartender there, and he would tell me that there's this old fellow there named Otis,
Mm-hmm.
and he claims he invented the elevator.
Oh, bless it.
He says, "Got my name on it."
Oh my God.
Apparently, they did a lot of like microfiche in the library to find out these stories, which I think would be so neat to like look at what all happened and all the
You
people
could
that
stay
came.
at the Adolphus while you go and look at the microfiche down at City Hall and stuff to look up the records.
Oh, that's true. 'Cause it's right there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to stay here. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Really?
I think it would be really neat. I'd like to go sit on that rooftop bar and just kind of, because I mean, when you look at the pictures of the bar, all of downtown is surrounding you, like these buildings. You're just
I was looking at the drinks on the bar menu. It's not that expensive.
$20, some of them. for a drink.
Where have you been recently?
I was going to say.
How much was this whole bottle?
Okay, but if you go get let's say you go
You're
get
not a cocktail drinker. We've already figured that out.
Let's go get a shot of Macallan 25.
Well, no, that's more
12.
than a room, probably.
No, I mean, that's the thing, though. It's expensive. So, I mean, that's
close to $200 a shot, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind staying here with the pasta bolognese. Sounds
I mean,
delicious.
honestly, I didn't think that the prices were ridiculous compared to what what they can be. Like, some of the restaurants we go to that's like a la carte, like Emilio's, for instance, great food. That's expensive, though. You're going to pay what they're charging.
I mean, it's $25 for pasta bolognese.
Yeah, I know. That's about what you're going to pay. So, I mean, I get it. Like,
it's $42 for
and honestly,
New
for
York
me,
strip
at
steak
least,
frites.
like for us, that kind of a hotel is not the average. Like, that's not where we would stay all the time. So that would be a nice place to go. You
Old
go have
Day
a
Inn
nice
Express.
dinner.
Yeah, well, Motel 6, Tom Bodette's leaving the light on.
Leaving light on for me.
Sometimes we kind of spring for a Hampton, but I mean,
I ain't paying $13 for broccolini.
Yeah.
For tiny broccoli.
No, but I am going to hit that, the olive oil cake. Really want to hit that one up.
It's something, it seems, olive oil seems savory, so it doesn't
It's
belong
really
in
not.
cake.
You need to have an olive oil cake because it's amazing. Oh,
It's
best
like
dessert.
the cake with the green with zucchini in it. It's like,
Now, what's the difference when you use oil in a cake? Is that like angel food cake? Doesn't it have oil? Which one has oil?
Angel food is that boy.
Yeah, what kind of cakes have oil? Is it
Olive
pound
oil
cake?
cakes.
Olive oil cakes.
Olive oil cakes.
Obviously.
Well, a lot of them have like butter.
I don't know.
Most of them are called olive oil cakes that have oils.
Yeah, I mean,
in it.
I've heard of that before.
Otherwise, you have like butter that you use.
But for my $12, I'd rather have the chocolate budino, vanilla shortbread crumble, salted caramel.
I know you'd like that chocolate one.
Actually, I'd rather have the pan-seared halibut or something and skip the whole dessert thing.
Nope, I don't need to skip it. I would like to try some of that actually. I would. So, but you can actually substitute oil in a lot of.
Yeah,
it makes them denser.
That's what I was thinking.
I've had it before
And the
I
inward.
didn't care for it.
I was thinking that angel food was made with oil instead of butter.
It's made with egg whites.
Lots of bread is like focaccia, and stuff like that. I've had lots of breads made with olive oil.
No, angel food cake is made with egg whites,
Okay.
and that's why it's.
Yeah, you got.
So
I don't
light.
spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
I do. I like to bake. So that's the Aldolphus. Go stay there. It's fun. I'd like to go stay there
It's
and
doable.
eat there and
I would love
experience
somebody
the
to
bar.
talk to me to tell me it's here when I walked into the elevator.
Yes, it's here.
Well, so what did we think about El Tequileno?
That's
I
pretty
like
good
it.
for the price.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a $20 bottle for $7.50.
It doesn't honestly in at appearance you wouldn't think you could sip that.
No, you wouldn't.
You
But
really
that
don't. Like that looks like something I would put in a margarita
Looks like Mexican moonshine.
or
It's-
some
a
sort
la
of a cocktail.
batanga.
I would like to try that actually.
but that's a really,
really good.
decent tequila.
I don't hate it at all.
Not a lot of scorpions.
There's no
good
scorpions
flavor.
at all.
There really isn't.
Yeah, it's
There's
smooth.
not any.
Very
for somebody
agave
who's
forward.
never drank tequila and said, or drank Jose Cuervo, go, oh my God, this is garbage. I would direct them to that. Go buy you a bottle of this. It's cheap enough. It's not going to hurt your wallet. And
We actually did when we were at Total Wine and we bought it because we told the one guy was asking
Oh,
you
yeah,
about it
yeah,
and we
yeah,
told
yeah.
him we said Mijenta first and then we said but if that's a little out of your price range because a Blanco
He's a young
Mijenta is
kid.
about $47.50. We said but if that's not really your thing, I said this one's really good. I was like you can try it right here and I'm like man what am I?
I don't know for $21 though.
If
What
you
am I-
break out Coralejo again,
No,
I'm gonna
no,
lose my
no,
mind.
no,
I'm going to chuck this hat at him.
no. Cabrito. Cabrito's the goat for 21.
See, I have not tried
I'm
Cabrito
empty. I
yet.
keep trying to drink
We
it.
need
I'm
to get
empty.
that next time we go down here because it's the
Right.
the reposado is $21 I think, and
Yeah, I hadn't tried the Cabrito yet, so I can't
It's
really
good.
talk smack about it, but it looks horrible.
No.
It looks like painted donkey.
it's got a goat on the label. It has to be. It's got the goat, the
Yeah,
greatest of all time.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that it is, but
it's good. Trust
Okay.
me.
I'll- okay.
We'll try that.
We'll try it.
We'll try
But this
it.
one is really good.
Don't try painted donkey.
Nah.
Yeah,
That seems
we
gimmicky.
tried painted donkey.
Gross.
You shouldn't. We did it for you. We suffered.
yeah, don't do that.
It
It's
was bad.
gimmicky.
It was really bad.
It's really fake.
We're not even going to review that one because it was so bad. It's a cool label
Yeah.
on the bottle, but
It was
anyway.
It's not that cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
Y'all have a good night.
Nighty night.
Seriously though, we tried that painted donkey.
Well, I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
There at the liquor store here.
And they were
But I've never been tempted.
offering up samples.
Well, because he joked about it because we asked